Hello and welcome. This is Vivica Williams and you're watching Head to Head on UATV. Today we're talking about education, rather bringing up a new generation of young people capable and willing to be leaders and to take responsibility. This is essential for Ukraine's future. And that's where initiatives like the Ukrainian Leadership Academy comes in. It's a personal and social development gap year program for high school graduates. The project is relatively new for Ukraine and has no other analogs here. To talk more about it, we're joined in the studio by Roman Tychkivskyy, the head of the Ukrainian Leadership Academy. Hello, and thank you for joining us today.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here.
How long has this academy been in operation?
So we've been in operation for around 2.5 years.
And tell us about the structure of it. Is it just one academy, or are there many branches, or are there programs, workshops?
So back in 2015, we started with one location on the outskirts of Kyiv, Pushcha-Voditsa, which is just like 2 kilometers from the studio. And we were quite fascinated with the results we achieved with the first group of students who happened to be just high school graduates choosing not to run immediately into the university, but stop for a year and do a gap year, which is quite uncommon for Ukraine, as you mentioned in introduction. And so the year later, the fund that is actually established for the first campus, which name is Western Enterprise Fund, decided to back up opening of another 4 campuses, and so the number of branches of Ukrainian Leadership Academy increased, and just in 1 year from 1 to 5.
Oh, wow.
And so today we run campuses in Kharkiv, in Poltava, in Mykolaiv, in Kiev, in Lviv. Seeing the results that we are getting, we are dreaming of having at least 1 campus in every oblast, which will help us to capture 1,000 talented and motivated youngsters a year.
That's a really large growth in just 2 years.
Yes.
How many students are each academy?
So each branch is capable of hosting from 40 to 50 students. We are on average 40 students per each branch. So currently we started the year with 200. Some of them were excluded already due to different misbehavior, etc. And so we are currently standing at the number of 182 students. Plus we already have 231 alumni.
Oh, wow. And so tell us about the program. How does it run? How long do students stay? And what are they learning?
So first of all, I would define the program as a leadership based on values, or values-based leadership formation program for Ukrainian youngsters who graduate from high schools and are not really into what's happening around them, both in the country and in the world. And they're coming out of the high school packed with knowledge, but they're not that much instrumental for analyzing what's happening. And so we're trying to fill the gaps. And the program is composed of 3 elements. It's intellectual, it's emotional, and physical development. We are aiming to develop a personality. But there's another aspect to it, is the social service. When you build up yourself as a strong personality, you are learning at the same time to serve others. When you have the chance of 10 months program being as a student of Ukrainian Leadership Academy, you don't just benefit yourself, but you are learning how to serve those who are in need. And in this case, we actually define leadership as something that creates opportunities for others by a person who names himself or herself as a leader.
Wow. And does it have any analogs outside of Ukraine? Is there a program you've worked on or that you used as a model?
Yeah, actually, that's a very important question, because we in Ukraine are not that much looking at international experiences when we are trying to tackle the problems inside the country. But I'm happy that we came across the experience of Israel, which runs today around 60 similar leadership institutions across the country. And they have developed their system of leadership programs based on the experience of Great Britain. It's Oxford and Cambridge colleges that used to bring up the elite for the Great Britain in some days, and actually do today as well. We today look at the Japanese experience of leadership training. We are trying to look at Scandinavian. I just came back from the United States where we met with Georgetown University, and we're trying to search as many options as possible.
So you're taking the best from as many places as possible and creating something that's unique for Ukraine.
Yeah, actually, we want by this to give a clear message to our students that Ukraine is an equal partner or equal part of this global community, and we don't have to underestimate ourselves. First of all, we can serve to a global community as well, but before that, we know surely that we can learn a lot from the international community, and we don't have to be ashamed of it. It's an advantage that such international experience is open to us.
And let's look at the other side a little. Who's teaching these students, and who's helping to give them this experience?
So the academy, you have 40 students living on the campus 24/7 during actually 10 months. Apart from their international expeditions that we have twice a year to Israel and to EU countries, so they see actually and touch things that are related to probably improving Ukraine in the future, right after they come back. But they also have some tours around Ukraine in order to look deeply into difficulties, but also see the beauty of the country and meet variety of people who are working today in order to change it. And so by that, we are trying to create a real community of people around the country and the globe who will be committed to work on the greatness of Ukraine by 2030, by 2050, you name it. But we have to be committed in order to make the country a better place. And the people who are working as faculty members are those who we call great teachers, are the well-known Ukrainian entrepreneurs, scholars, academicians, politicians, activists, social activists, etc. And so since they already have a recognized name within the society and globally, we simply invite them and we tell them, you have 10 classes, for instance, to teach and make sure that the student understands history, or why history is important as an instrument of critical thinking and analyzing what's happening in the world today. You cannot do everything on history in 10 classes, but you can actually allow history to become an instrument. And so I can name you a dozen of bright people who are working with our students today.
Oh, wow. And so then they take from these classes and they have some practical applications.
So they do have a lot of discussions, and like they read Aristotle or they read Rousseau on some particular subject, and they discuss issues related to what was written in the text and to some practical issues that we are facing in Ukraine. And so our message to the students, you are the owners of the country, and the way you will actually use the resource that you are owing will actually show the efficiency and the final result. There's no one else in Ukraine, or there's no one else besides Ukrainians who could build a successful Ukraine. This is our responsibility, and we would like young Ukrainians to feel that there is a larger community for them to be part of, because actually this is one of the major first reasons why young Ukrainians leave the country is the absence of community.
Right.
They don't believe or they don't feel that they belong here. But they do, and we simply have to show them that they are needed here.
Well, and so what are you seeing from some of your alumni? Do you have alumni that come back? Of course, it's a little early for them to come back, but nonetheless, where are you seeing some of your alumni ending up?
So alumni is today the biggest challenge, because by alumni, someone can say whether the academy is contributing to the society or not. And that's this is what prevails today when people are trying to understand what's the contribution. I'm happy to say that most of our alumni are today at the best universities of Ukraine. Almost 70% of alumni have changed their opinion about where they want to be due to the experience in the Ukrainian Leadership Academy in comparison to what they were thinking right after the high school. And so it shows that they make this decision solely based on their own understanding of reality, not without pressure from outside, like their parents or society in general, because there are many stereotypes. And so they made finally the decision that they took responsibility for. And so as early you take responsibility, the more mature person you become and the more stronger person you become. And so you can start contributing to the world at more early stage. We're talking about 18-year-old young people who today also are doing great social initiatives. Just name a few. We have people working for business incubators, already mentoring some of the startup projects. We have now a student alumni who is helping the east of Ukraine and the soldiers who are on the battlefield through a very interesting project. We have alumni who are returning to Ukrainian Leadership Academy and helping us running the program. And we are determined to see their success from now on and for the next years to come.
Well, this is really impressive. It looks like it's it's definitely growing. And it looks like it's definitely making a change in such a short amount of time. So what is the next step? Where is the Academy looking to go next, and how is it looking to develop?
So we are evolving each year, and if you'd ask me if the Academy today is the same as it was in 2015, I will surely tell you no. We changed a lot as the world is changing, but we also are looking for improvements in what we do, both operationally and by content. And so we are changing, and I think we're contributing and we are giving more and more to our students. But we also are getting now more from the students, and so there is a better connection now. We are dreaming about having one academy in each oblast of Ukraine, and so for that we need to heavily fundraise both in Ukraine and outside. We have to create a sustainable system that would at least be in place for the next 10 years in order to really create a critical mass of youngsters who will take responsibility for the state now and in the future.
Wonderful. And any new programs on the horizon?
Well, actually, today we have announced the program with the government, which is targeting those young Ukrainians who would be interested to work for the government in the future or be in politics. Based on several international experiences, we announced the first official governmental internship program for Ukrainians. And so this is a pilot project that is run by Ukrainian Leadership Academy and Ministry of Youth and Sport with the support of USAID. And that's a phenomenon for Ukraine because I think it's easy to be a declared independent state, much harder to prove that you're an independent state, and the responsibility is on your shoulders. And for the government to sustain, we have to open up it to youngsters and make it interesting to them.
And last question for you, what can people do? So this is inspiring to me, and I'm sure anyone who's watching this will also be inspired. So how can other people get involved? Is there a role for this?
Yeah, we are always looking for volunteers. We do a memory run, for instance, in 4 days from now. We will be doing the next memory run to commemorate the soldiers who have fallen in the East. And it's a tradition already that takes place the third time in 3 years. And so we always need volunteers for such things. Today we have a big leadership forum in Lviv with more than 300 kids involved from around the country. And actually, at the same time, we have another leadership forum in Kyiv for 1,000 kids from across the country. And each of these events needs volunteers to coordinate the efforts, help us professionally. We always seek mentorship because, the average age of our employees, the team members, is around 26. So we are relatively young, and we are sure that there are much more experienced people out there who can help us improve what we do. And we're always welcome to such advice.
Well, thank you so much for being with us today, Roman. This is an impressive program, and I look forward to seeing where your alumni end up.
Thank you for having me.
And today we were speaking with Roman Tychkivskyy, the head of the Ukrainian Leadership Academy. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more.